Are high pay-per-view prices getting to you? Maybe MLB blackouts, maybe the insane cost of Sunday ticket, whatever it might be. NordVPN.com/Fightful is here to help. You get NordVPN.com/Fightful. You change your virtual location with one click. Maybe you want to be in the West Coast when you can't watch a game on the East Coast. They got you covered. Maybe the pay-per-view prices are just too high or there's too many of them. Switch your virtual location overseas and get the prices that they're paying there. NordVPN.com/Fightful does it all for you. And that's in addition to their password manager, their protection on public Wi-Fi, the ability to use it on all your devices, including your router, your TV. It doesn't matter. They've got you on all those. And a 30-day money-back guarantee. Maybe you're just feeling wild and you want to try it. Well, you know what? In 30 days, if you don't like it, spoiler, you will. You can get your money back. NordVPN.com/Fightful. What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp here with a name you know. You've seen him here on Fightful a number of times at this point. Across Fightful and Fightful Overbooked, we have Vinny Pacifico. How you doing, man?
Very good. Thank you for having me. Great intro, by the way.
I thank you. I mean, listen, since the last time we were on camera together, gosh, I can't remember when that was. Probably last year at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen a car on fire driving down the road, Vinny.
Wow.
We witnessed that. Like, we were just minding our own business, driving down the road, and we looked to our right, and we're like, why is there smoke coming out of that vehicle? And a vehicle was on fire driving down the road at a regular rate of speed, Vinny.
A regular rate of speed. Like, that's the crazy part of it. If I feel heat in the car, I'm gonna either pull over or get where I gotta get quick. That's crazy.
They were not. Like, they were just like, gotta get to work.
Cruising along.
Where do you think they were going? Because we were going to, like, it was funny. We were leaving Illinois to go to Michigan City, Indiana.
Okay.
Is where we were going.
Where do I think they were going? And they were by where you live?
No, they were not by where I live. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky.
They were on the way with you.
No, you were on the way with me. You did.
Oh my
you
God!
don't remember
that.
this at all. My God!
I thought you were telling me a story.
No, I'm talking about when me and you were on our way to a brewery show
Now
outdoor, by the way, which they didn't tell anybody about. And you and I witnessed a car on fire driving down the road along with Samira.
How did I forget that?
I don't know. How exciting is your life that you forget that?
I'm sitting here thinking you're telling me a story about you looking outside your house with your wife and you see a car driving by.
I've thought about this every week since then. What kind of exciting shit do you have happening?
Too much. But yes, I remember that. And where were they going? I have no idea. Hopefully to get this car fixed and maybe save their own lives, because that was crazy. Yeah, I remember that. They were driving. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy. That was nuts. That was a fun show too, by the way. It was a fun road trip.
It was. You had to hit the bricks immediately. Like, you had to make some magic happen in order to be at that show.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. My flight going home, there's a show was, so what happened was I flew in and I didn't know how far the venue was.
It was quite a while.
I was thinking, maybe rent a car, maybe, and then I'm like, well, I'll be up with Sean, but I didn't know where you were or where the airport was to you, not doing geography or anything. And then it ends up like, oh my God, it's an hour and a half away from the airport. So we got there on time. I think I'm pretty sure we got there on time. And I think it was delayed 25 minutes, 30 minutes too. So I was like able to chill for a bit.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a fun show though. I love BLP.
It was.
They always great shows, great people, Mikey's the man, it's always a good time over there.
Hope their hiatus is not permanent, because I really love what they've done. It was an honor to work with them. But yeah, it was funny because it was an outdoor show and they didn't tell anybody until we all got there.
The ring's nuts. I'm like, wait, where's the? I thought the venue was huge, and then we see the ring outside, and I'm like,
and Michigan City, Indiana in late April is not exactly warm. It's a pretty chilly
it was very
situation.
Chilly. It got warm, actually. It got warm at some point, which is awesome.
Man, you've had a lot going on. I know you were just in Finland. How was that trip?
So that trip was amazing. We started out in Finland, had 3 shows. It was pretty much Finland, finished that tour, to England, finished that tour, and then to France. And each tour was like almost better than the last, right? So Finland was really, really good because there's not a lot of wrestling in Finland, right? So the fans that are the wrestling fans were like so stoked to be there. They're like, oh my God, wrestling. And they were so like loud, right? But then
Yes.
I had the opportunity to wrestle in the world famous Helsinki Metal Festival in Finland in a stadium
Wow.
with metal fans, wrestling fans. That was one of the coolest moments of my career. You know, you're in a stadium and like there's like fans everywhere of all different fields, wrestling, hardcore rock, hardcore metal. It was just crazy. It was nuts. That was a great way to end the tour for Finland. What are you gonna say?
How does that situation like present itself? Because I know that you're interested in traveling and
Mm-hmm.
going all kinds of places to wrestle, but I mean, Finland isn't one you just hear of a lot of times.
So how it worked was, it was pretty much I had a tour. I had a tour booked in England, right?
Hmm.
A company in France wanted to book me for a while. We were talking for a bit, finding out dates and finding out when would work. Um, but one of the promoters in England was like, Vinny, we have a company that we're close with in Finland. You know, you're going to be in Europe in the area, so and flights are really cheap over there, and they're able to like split things and whatever. So it's like you're going to be here. Why don't you just hit this company up and see if what it could work out? And it was perfect. The 3rd, 9th, and 10th, Finland was running. Then my next week in England, the whole week, like, I had that week in England, and then the last weekend, France had they booked their dates around that schedule for me, which is really special. That meant a lot to me. And so we had that, we worked that out, and it was a whole month tour, right? Yeah. So how that worked out was really, really special. How everything all perfectly formed itself, and I got to really enjoy the traveling outside of the wrestling part. I got to do Suomenlinna. It's a little island in Finland, like in the ocean, and it felt like I was in Scotland. And they were like these giant chains, like these giant, like hook chains, like along the side of by the water on this island. And I felt like, oh my gosh, what are these chains for? These chains must have been like 10 feet like thick. It was nuts. But so yeah, it was just a beautiful time in Finland. Finland, like I said, one of the most underrated countries. And I think the wrestling scene, slam wrestling at the company, the wrestling scene should be a lot more buzzing in Finland, I believe, because just they have great talent. They have a lot of international talent, a lot of homegrown talent, and I like what they're doing, you know. And then England, of course, we all know how amazing England is. You know, the British wrestling scene's just phenomenal. I had a blast over there. And then France, I will go down and say, and you know, I'm sure people know about this now, that France is one of the best places to wrestle. The fans sung my entrance song as in my entrance. The
That's
fans were
cool.
so involved. They were singing during the match. They were chanting everything they could think of to chant. And as a wrestler, it's just fun to like, you know, do even like a chop and have a sick reaction. Like anything you did, any movement you make, they reacted. And that as a wrestler is just something that makes the match better for yourself, you know, or more enjoyable. So more enjoying, sorry. And it was great. And I would say it's just France was just special, right? And I created some relationships, and I'm looking at going back to France early next year. But yeah, so I would say,
Nice.
and on top of the wrestling scene being amazing in France, the food, the food's a different story. Best food I've
Are
had in
you
my
on there
life.
looking like Keenan Thompson in the bathtub, like with the raincoat on? Ha ha! As you eat your baguettes.
I was eating everything in sight, and the craziest thing was, the food there is so pure. I lost weight while I was eating that shit.
Wow. I mean, so I remember asking, and obviously she's not from France, but I asked Rhea Ripley what her least favorite thing about America is, and she said the food. And she said because she didn't change her diet really at all, and she gained like 10 kilos when she moved over just by eating the same stuff that had all the preservatives and stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. Took a very long time to get my body back into the swing of things. And I got back, you know,
Mhm.
Finland, they were very big with puddings, right? And it was a healthy pudding,
Yeah.
huge with puddings. Like they had like shelves of just like a million puddings, but it's like vitamins in it and protein and low carb and low fat. It's crazy. and the prices were amazing. And then England was very, England's very traditional fish and chips. You have cheeseburgers, steaks, and it was pretty damn good. But then France, like I said, the bread is just a different breed. It's like you could eat it and feel lighter on your feet. I don't know, can't explain it. You have to try it to understand. Um, but yeah, and then when I came back home, it was just like, wow, like I feel different. I feel heavier. Like I feel like I feel the food makes your stomach react different in America than it is and
Yeah.
that was the big thing. But it was a still wonderful time. Like I said, the wrestling, bar none, amazing. I wrestled Big Morgan in France, and he's somebody who's blowing up out there. He is phenomenal. And SMS, one of their new upcomers, we had a match the Sunday show, and I was very impressed with him. SMS, great character work, great talent, very motivated and very hungry. And we had a 15-minute match, a main event match, and we went in, and I was very impressed. I was very very impressed with that whole locker room HCP catch. If you can find them, watch them. They have an amazing plethora of talents that you will watch and you will be so impressed. And they should have lights on them, in my opinion.
It's not just Finland. By the time people see this, you'll have headed over to Europe where, my gosh, where all are you going? I know Germany. I know you're going to Germany like a couple times, aren't you?
So starting out, Netherlands,
Okay.
right? Starting
Okay,
Dutch Pro
Netherlands.
Wrestling. Starting out there, staying there for a couple days, heading to Germany from there. For GWP, they're a great company. They don't run every month, but when they run, they draw great crowds. They have the best talent. And I've actually been watching their stuff lately. It's very, very impressive. GWP. And then from there, it's gonna be an international showcase show. One of the biggest shows they've ever ran in Romania.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Then it's Hungary after that, I believe it was that I
yes,
saw.
yes.
There we
So
go.
it's
I don't know
nice. It's a
why
nice.
I don't know why I thought you were going back to Germany. I definitely thought Hungary. Sorry, Hungarians.
No, because
Uh,
like, I think Hungary is west of Romania. I couldn't, don't quote me on it, but
yeah.
so it's, which is near Germany. But like the Romania show is gonna be very very special because it's like an international one time a year show. They last year they had, I believe, Leo Rush and some other amazing talent. This year, Rene Dupree, and a few other amazing like high flyers that I've been watching.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that's gonna be awesome. And then uh, HCW in Hungary to finish off
Wow.
that beautiful month-long tour. So I'm very excited for that. And yeah, I'm ready
Wh-
to listen. I've never been more hungry in my life, and I'm very blessed. No pun intended. And I'm very blessed to
I
be.
was gonna say you're about to be.
I'm blessed to be doing what I'm doing. It's really fun to be able to travel the world and learn different cultures and learn different things. Like when I was in France, I was like watching these matches, and they're just different style matches. So I try to put what I do into like their style, and it's like just different, But I say you adapt and you learn and you get better. And that's what I always want to do. I want to get better no matter what I do. Every show I have the opportunity to, I want to get better. And now, again, going back to Europe again, and I feel like this tour will be a very very successful one. I'm very excited for it.
So I'm always interested in how these came together as well. Did you get booked for one and say, you know what, I'm going to look for bookings around when I'm going to be there? How does that work for an independent wrestler?
Hey, so like I said, word of mouth, being someone who's able to be easy to work with as well. That's something that really helps. If you creating name value also helps. If you have a good name value and
Yeah.
you have a good following for yourself, and that all these things help, right? This one came about. Romanian Pro Wrestling hit me up earlier this year. They're like, "Hey, Vinny, we have this international event we're doing this year, November. I believe this is like way early this year. Like, we want to book you for it. I know it's January, but we want to bring you in November." I'm like, all right, awesome, let's do it. And I met someone from HCW in Hungary, in Finland. He watched my stuff. He's like, "Oh, I want to book you one day." And now you know what I'm saying? So the opportunities just arise when you meet you like they watch your match, and then you have this tour set out. Hey, I had this. I'm gonna be in Romania next to Hungary. So that was how that worked. The Germany Wrestling Company. That one we for a while we've been talking, so we just was able to work this one out. And Netherlands, that was also a company that we reached out earlier this year as well, and we just trying to find the right time to do it. So it's all connections, it's all reaching out, it's all meeting people, it's all how you portray yourself and how people you meet along the way have connections, right? And they're like, oh, Vinny, I thought this is a really good match. Let me bring you to this person, and it's just it's a bunch of different things combined that make it what it is, right? So, it's also easier if you're gonna be in the area. I've learned that in the past, but like for this one was very special, where it's like every company I've been talking to was running at the perfect time during this tour that I'm gonna be at. So that's how I was able to come out. But yeah, Romanian Pro Wrestling is the one that started this. They were like, we wanted to use. I was booked in January for them, so that's where I was able to really just work on everything else.
So as you travel to these places, are you going to be flying to each one? You taking a little road trip while you're there? How's that going to work? How's that going to go?
2 flights, driving. I think they got me a train from Romania to Hungary.
Okay.
I think they got me a rental car from Netherlands to Germany because it's only 4 hours away.
Yeah.
And obviously the flight home and the flight there.
Man.
But that's so a couple flights, but like most of it is very, very close, right? No, and I also think Germany flight to Romania. That's what I got too. The 3 flights.
Have you ever seen the classic movie Euro Trip?
I haven't.
You haven't? Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to watch it. It's completely sophomoric humor now.
Okay.
Like it didn't age great over 20 years, but man, they decide they're just gonna go to Europe, and one of the quotes was, we can't get lost there. It's the size of a shopping mall. But they end up in Bratislava at one point, which is a completely defeated
What's it called?
country.
Euro Trip?
Euro Trip, yes.
I gotta look into that.
Definitely, it was definitely capitalizing like off the era of like Road Trip and Harold and Kumar and the like, but it's worth a watch. It's certainly worth a watch, especially if you're going to Europe.
Okay.
I feel like you should go. You should watch that for sure.
I'm leaving in a week, so it's perfect. I'll get to that.
Speaking of Europe and just words that sort of go along with each other, I interviewed Paul London recently, and he is actually not from London whatsoever, but I spoke to him about the match he had with you, and we also talked about how he threw the can, he threw the drink, and it landed flat. And he's like, how can you plan for that?
That match, Sean, that match was, first of all, me and Sean go way back to I was 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who was always looking out for me, always had my back. What an amazing human being Paul London is. What a gem of a human being. Yeah. I think everyone who watches this will agree with me.
I learned so much just from talking to him for an hour. Like, the guy's brilliant.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's phenomenal. And in the ring, our match, one of my favorite in my career, right? He's just an anomaly of a talent. He can do anything. And we had a really fun match, and we're very, very good friends. And he's also killing in the acting scene too, which is very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the freaking can, he tossed it out of the ring, shook it, tossed it, it bounced, and then I heard the front row all cheer. And I'm like, why are they cheering? So I went down and I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, this is just amazing. You can't make this up. And the drink was perfectly set. That was phenomenal.
When that happens, do you hear from your sponsors, or do they say anything, or are they just like, oh, neat?
So I'll tell you, they liked it. They shared it. They posted it, the whole 9. But I just feel like it was just, I thought it was phenomenal. I mean, I don't know. I personally, for me, I love that spot. I love that moment. I was just like a moment like that, like you can't ever replicate. But yeah, no, they liked it. They commented on it. They shared it. They were like, oh my God, that's so cool. But that was the end of it. You know what I mean? But
sure.
But I to this day, I have that saved in my favorites on my phone. You know, I have I have a few of my matches that are my favorites and some clips of my matches that are my favorites. And that one right there, one of my favorites. You know, literally, you can't make. First of all, a can is like, you know, this big. It's not gonna. You can't ever make that up. So the fact that that happened and the cameraman got it perfectly set to that, where, you know what I mean, it was great. Great moment.
I'm going to ask you about some matches that you had way, way, way back when, and share some memories of them. Occasionally in wrestling, early on, you'll come across somebody who obviously makes it big. One of those people that you came across was Sonny Kiss. At that point, could you tell like Sonny Kiss is going to be something, like going to be seeing Sonny Kiss a lot in the future?
Yes. I met Sonny my first day of wrestling training, and she was in the ring backflipping, right? Like just like setting backflips. And I knew she'd be amazing. I knew like she's gonna be a star. And I think everyone, as they discovered her, seeing her wrestle on the scene, she's gonna do amazing things. So
of course,
and everyone was right. So I have nothing but amazing things to say about Sonny. I'm so proud of everything they've done.
You were in a 60-man battle royal, it says, at the Monster Factory in November 2016 is what it claims. 60 man. 60.
That might be my first year in. Oh my god.
Let's see. Here's some of the names that were in there. See if this maybe refreshes your memory. 60 it claims. And some of the participants are just question marks. Like they're Colby Carino, Delirious, Shaheem Ali. Let's see, Falaba, Nick Morodo, the normal suspects for that. Do you have any recollection of this?
60? I feel like I would know, like, oh, wow, I was in a 60-man Rumble once.
I mean, there is a Rumble that was listed maybe a month or two later, and it was the Extreme Rumble. And I listen, I'm a Rumble match geek. If any promoter hits me up and says, Sean, do a Rumble match, well, I'm in there. Vinny, I got worked into a shoot and ended up doing a 35-minute spot in one this year. I went coast to coast.
I will never forget the Rumble spot when you did a slide down the ramp.
Yes. Yes, with Denise. But yeah, I love Rumble matches. But this one had, let's see, Wrecking Ball Legursky, which is an all-time great wrestling name.
Yes, of course.
Vinny of I believe the Righteous. Josh Briggs is in there. Gangrel, as I see. Christian Casanova, that guy, a little bit familiar with the name there. Ended up being Carmelo Hayes. But it also says Anthony Green, Ace Romero, and Bobby Cruz, which I can only hope is the ring announcer.
This was when?
What year was this? January 2017.
At Monster Factory.
No, this one was in West Warwick, Rhode Island.
Oh, I remember that. That I remember.
XWA.
I remember Gangrel eliminated me and my whole ass came out.
Ah, what?
That I remember. That one I remember. What? Yeah. Yep. That was a fun Rumble.
No, how does that happen? You can't just end things there. How does that happen?
I think he just grabbed the trunks and just like grabbed my head and just tossed me over. And like for some reason, maybe I don't know, but like my whole ass. I have a picture of it somewhere. Yeah, that happened. But yeah, that Rumble I remember. The one the 16-man one, I might vaguely remember. But I mean, I've worked for Monster Factory plenty of times. I love Danny Cage's death. I just can't put a finger on 60 man. I just can't think of like 60 people in the locker room. I don't remember that.
Yeah, especially at Monster Factory where the locker room is a weight room.
Great locker room. Come on.
Yes, great. I love it. I love it. I loved working there as well. Like I did the spot with Notorious Mimi. She was great. We worked that show together as well. My God, look at this.
Weekend.
So a couple months after that, you end up in a tag team match, and you were teaming with a fellow by the name of MJF. Do you remember this at all?
Tag team?
This is great. You've forgotten so many things that have happened.
I did not take from MJF.
Huh?
I didn't take with MJF.
It's what it claims at
Where?
Rockstar Pro Amped, it says.
Oh, I remember
Vinny,
that.
MJF, and Mike Verna against the Knight Riders. And you're like, I didn't even team
No,
with
that
them.
one I remember. That one I remember.
You
I remember
don't
MJF.
remember a 60-man battle royal teaming with the AEW World Champion or a burning vehicle.
I
If
remember
you
that.
get robbed at gunpoint and you are asked to do a sketch of whoever did it, Vinny, they're getting away scot-free.
I forgot. Like the reason I forgot that was so long ago, but I will say I remember this clear as day. MJF and Mike Verna. I had an injury that match, and MJF took great care of me, and I will say he's one of the best for that, and I appreciate him more than anything.
Man.
That I remember that. I remember that. It was a while ago. Oh my god.
Now he remembers it. Remembers it. Oh my god.
I had an injury, didn't know what to do, and MJF completely. I was like 17 at the time, or 8. I don't know how I was young, but like
My God.
MJF really took control there and helped me out. So he's great, one of the best.
I mean, he's kind of terrible as well, but I did happen to get a glimpse of a hypothetical police sketch that you have described to someone. There it is, based on memory from Vinny Pacifico. Here's a funny story. They actually caught the man that police sketch was about.
Based off of that picture, or just in general?
Oh well, buddy,
that matters.
Buddy, listen. When you see the police sketch and the actual mugshot, ain't that far off. It ain't that far off.
You would think that it's just an insult. You're burying the guy. Look, and that's exactly almost how he looks.
Oh my gosh!
That wouldn't happen. That's great.
You forgot. I'm gonna be like, hey, so you wrestled last weekend, and you're like, what? No. Oh,
me
against the Undertaker, Vinny. Who's that? I don't know him.
Wow. But the 60 man, come on. I mean,
you got married recently. You got any memories of that?
Yes. I remember. I posted a memory this morning of me breakdancing on the floor at my wedding.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen the viral video of which Danny Cage claims was a Monster Factory trainee? I can't remember who it was, but Danny Cage has said he knows the guy, and he's breakdancing on a dance floor, and he does this spin move and spinning back fists a little kid in the face.
I did see that video. That's wild. Oh.
Yes.
An accident, though, right? It was an accident.
Oh, it was total accident.
I did see that video. Yeah.
Although I will say this, any kid that sees a dude busting moves like that, like, come on, stay out of that person's square area in general. Stay clear.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned Paul London killing it in acting. You've been getting into some acting as well. What can you tell us about the project that you've been working on? So
it started out being a movie we're doing, like, all right, it's going to be this wrestling themed horror thriller type thing we'd be doing with a great storyline. I would say I think is an amazing story. Can't get too much into it because of just things that are happening at the moment, but we're turning it into a possible series of like a bunch of episodes, and we're working on. We just wrapped up last week. Actually, we finished up the last scene. We celebrated in Disney, and that was it. So now we're just waiting to complete the final edits, and we're going to be looking at distribution. I've been really lucky to have been named the lead in this series, and it's going to be really it's going to be something that, it's I am me in this series, so it's not like I'm growing as my professional wrestling character, right? Like, you fans and people who are just like first tuning in will learn a deeper understanding about who Vinny Power Punch is, right? And understand why I am the way I am, why I do what I do, why the Power Punch is such a devastating move, right? So like, this opportunity came at the right time, at the right place, and it's gonna be wild. And so I'm just looking forward to the next step with that, which is finding out distribution, finding out, where we're going to be putting it and who's going to be invested in it. But like, we have some people we're talking to, and from there we're going to be straight shooting. But also, I have somebody who I'm working with in also Hollywood industry that's bringing me to places that will be casting. So I'm stepping into a new world, right? Like wrestling will always be my number one, but I definitely would love to do acting as well and be able to grow in that aspect, because pro wrestling and acting, I think, are both entertainment
Yeah.
industries, and I want to be the best that I could be for just in general. So I am looking forward to every wrestling opportunity I could get, but also obviously any acting that I could do as well. I just want it all pretty much at this point. It's like I love what I do. I love entertaining. I love captivating an audience and creating emotional reaction. So it's just what I love to do.
You're also pretty good at that wrestling thing. A question that I like to ask people: what's the hardest you've been hit in the ring?
The hardest I've been hit in the ring.
Basically, you're saying that everybody's a little bitch.
No, there's a few that really rung me that I'm like, whoa, that was
Apparently enough to where you don't forget or you don't remember MJF.
EC3. EC3 was one of them where we're
Okay.
wrestling and I just wind back and just chop him, right?
Yeah.
And he just stands there, looks around, grabs me, throws me in the corner, and just chops me. But the chop sounded like a baseball bat hitting a baseball, like
Yes.
bing, and like
Oh no.
I saw white. I'm like, whoa, that was a chop. And I think Paul London chopped me in the neck.
Who did?
So Paul London,
Paul London.
he goes,
Okay.
he like, and I'm like, oh my god, that was one of them.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, the EC3 match, I feel like that was, gosh, that was a couple years ago. It was like 2.5 years ago, right? I thought so. I mean, he was always a very helpful guy with me. Like, I would send him my training footage and stuff, and he would give me feedback on that.
Yeah.
I always found him like very underrated. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like the control your narrative thing, but I thought the original vision of it was pretty solid and different. But man, he's always been a very, very helpful guy. When you look at people that have helped you in the ring, especially in your early years, who were some of those people?
EC3 is one of them. We had hours, I would say weeks together in Orlando doing promos. That's why that's why I've gotten better with my promo game and my character game. EC3, I would say 100% Gangrel, bar none.
Oh man,
The best.
he's great.
I saw him recently, gave him a big ass hug. I'm like, oh my god, I'd love to see you. I love that guy. He's the freaking best. There's so many. Hold on. And early on, Shane Helms was we had a match together and we stayed in touch. And he always made sure I was always doing well and always reaching out. Paul London, he's friggin', like I said, what a man that guy is. You could call him any time of the day and just vent to him if you need him. I would say 100% Zack Sabre Jr. We had a lot of fun stories going way back early on. I remember actually I lost my first job when I was 16 at ShopRite to be on a show that he was on. So I got a company that wanted to book me. I was starting out, and again, wrestling always has been number one to me. Always will be. And I had a job at ShopRite, in produce, I think it was. And I had a booking come along. It was a very big one. And I was like, wow, this is I'm like my second year in. I'm like, I need this opportunity, They wouldn't give me time off. So I put in my 2-week notice to be on that show with Zack Sabre Jr. and just go to a seminar and also wrestle on the show. I believe that show I wrestled with Sho and Yo from New Japan. And I'm like, I can't miss that opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
of course.
That's how that happened. Yeah, that's how that happened. And I got to learn and like the language barrier. I got to grow in that aspect, right? So it was just a really cool opportunity for me, and that's how that happened. I'd also say trying to think of my Bobby Fish, somebody who's helped me out a lot. We go back.
He's a very nice guy as well.
Yeah, very very sweetheart. So yeah, those are the main real ones that come to mind immediately. Matt Seidel also. He's always. I got a lot of my technical wrestling from.
Mhm.
I went to his school for for a couple days and learned a lot from him. He's great. Years back, but it's a great guy to always vent to and wrestle with, and just just a great person in general. Cheeseburger, my trainers I would give credit to is Gresham, Cheeseburger, Delirious. These people who are just the best in the world
Yeah.
at what they do.
Oh,
And
Cheeseburger, I think is one of the most underrated wrestling minds
yeah.
in the world. I think that
Mhm.
anybody that hired him not only gets a good performer, but they would get somebody that can coach people, that can
Yep,
train people, that can probably produce matches.
yep,
Not only that, he is the kind of person you want in your locker room, whether it be an independent show or something like WWE or AEW. I think that any place
100%.
would stand to benefit from hiring him.
I 100% agree. 100 and Red Titus, other one amazing.
Yeah, I love Rhett
But
Titus as well.
Rhett's amazing. But yeah, Cheese, you're. I actually spoke to him yesterday. He's literally in Austria right now, killing it
Oh,
overseas.
wow.
He's phenomenal. He's also just an amazing human being too. Like we go way back. Like he's like my mentor. So like
Mhm.
we've gone through so much together, and I love him to death. And yeah, he's just an amazing talent too. We have had multiple matches, different types, different ways of matches, and just every one of them I always remember and I always loved it. It's always something that I always look forward to working to him again with him again. But yeah, Rick Titus is somebody also I hold dearly to my heart. Um, Cheeseburger and Rhett were my groomsmen in my wedding. And actually, I have there's a video of Rhett dancing in my. I watched this morning, just going through my phone. Because at my wedding time 1 year ago, right? So it's like almost the anniversary. So I'm getting like memories and stuff. And Rhett was just hilarious. The whole wedding, dancing, spinning, doing all this shit.
Mhm.
He's the man. So yeah, those are people that I would say have a very good influence on my career, and I'm blessed to have them in my life. And they're all amazing people, and I think the world of them.
Before we wrap up, I know you did an appearance on Freddie Prinz's show. I mean, that's a nice connection to make for a variety of reasons. He's a
Mhm.
well-connected guy, knows his stuff, has worked in the wrestling industry, and not like he turned to wrestling when his acting career fizzled out. He chose wrestling, like he wanted and loved to work in the wrestling world.
Mhm.
How was that?
Really, really cool. Like I was nervous at first. Like I watched Scooby Doo as a kid. And, like what I mean. It's really, really cool to like. Wow, this is a cool opportunity. But the minute I got on that podcast, he was such like a sweetheart and so like calm that it helped everything out. Right. He's awesome. He has a phenomenal mind for this wrestling business, and it's just like, wow. And I can see why he did what he did.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like some people get it. You get it. Some people just get it. And he's somebody that gets it. And he's somebody that really just is phenomenal and like multiple different things as well. And podcasting. The questions he asks, like you when you're a good podcaster, like you have questions, you're quick witted, you have a sense of humor, like you have these different attributes about yourself to be able to run a podcast. And he was just phenomenal. I was on his podcast twice, both times, amazing times. And I love every opportunity I got to speak with him.
As we finish up, what is something that you want the world to know about Vinny Pacifico that they might not know? If you can remember.
I pointed this out. So this is a Manhattan special, right?
Uh-huh.
My grandma used to always make these for me as a kid with milk.
Mhm. Okay.
It's like coffee milk. It's like coffee soda, right? Amazing. That's something small that some people might not know. Something funny or something like serious. It's like just,
In general, just something interesting or uh something they might not know about you as a person, a performer, anything.
I used to be able to recite. I probably could still do it. The first episode of Spider Man with Toby McGuire.
Okay.
The whole movie almost.
The whole
I
movie.
used to be able to do that. I was like 12 or 13. And I will say, Toby is my favorite Spider-Man.
Listen, buddy, there's
Christian Bale,
one line in
Batman.
that movie that matters.
What's it?
Bonesaw is ready. That's the only line that
Only
matters in
line.
that entire movie.
Tossing him all over the ring. That was a great movie. Come on,
It
that's
was.
legendary. And I can't
I was
argue with people. Oh, Tom Holland's better. This one's better. I grew up with Toby, right? Like I climbed on the floor when I was like
Yeah.
6, pretending I was Spider-Man. You know what I mean? That's who I
Oh,
grew up with. So I can't.
have you watched the animated ones, the newer ones?
Yes, those are really good.
Oh my gosh, they're so
Really
good.
good. Really
Like
good. But I haven't watched much
I
of
had
the Tom
superhero
Holland.
fatigue, man. I was not into anything besides Deadpool at that point, and I was like, you know
Really?
what? I'm gonna try these out. They've got really good reviews, and I think they're two of the best movies I've ever seen. They're really incredible.
Was Deadpool your first superhero you ever watched?
No, absolutely
Okay.
not. It's just I watched so many of them that I'm like, I get it now. The good
Mhm.
guy wins.
Can you tell me this? Are you a fan of the Christopher Nolan series, Batman?
Yeah, I mean, Dark Knight, all that stuff. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Those
Okay,
those
good.
are really good. Some
The best.
exceptions, like I ain't watching a Superman movie at this point.
Mm,
I'm not gonna watch, any Avengers or anything like that at this stage.
I get it.
I'll watch Peacemaker on Max. I'll watch Deadpool, and that's about the extent of it. And now those Spider-Man animated movies are good. I grew up
Yeah.
in the Fox Kids era, so
Okay.
like I knew who all the villains were because Fox Kids and the action figures trained me to know who they were. Like that's when Cable showed up
Easily.
in Deadpool and all that stuff. I didn't know who he was because of comic books. I knew who he was because I had an action figure of him. So they did really good in that era. But
It helps. It helps to be able to set things up. Sorry.
Vinny Pacifico. No, it's okay. Tell the people where they can find you.
Instagram, Vinny Pacifico. Twitter, Vinny Pacifico 1. Facebook, Vinny Pacifico. And TikTok that I barely use, Vinny Pacifico.
Guys,
thank you very much.
Check him out. Always great to have Vinny here. Until next time, my friends, we're out.